And the Supreme Court has stated, Honorable Speaker, that the threshold is not the threshold required to prove criminal culpability in criminal cases. It is not the threshold of beyond reasonable doubt. It is the threshold of above a balance of probability, but below reasonable doubt. So therefore, that intermediate standard of proof, Honorable Speaker, through the various exhibits and testimonies that we are going to play before you and present before you, is a threshold that would not only be met, but the County Assembly will equally discharge the burden on its part in line with that interpretation by the Supreme Court. Another question, Honorable Speaker, is what amounts to grossness. The Constitution talks about gross violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. And therefore, the Supreme Court, while quoting the decision in Martin Nyaka-Wambora from the Court of Appeal, clarified that one, the allegations must be serious, substantial and weighty, and that there must be a nexus. Honorable Speaker, specific acts done by the governor, other acts done through officers who are working under her and are watchful eye, cover and protection. All these are specific acts attributable to her. She's disregarded resolutions of the Assembly to take action against them, and therefore it must be that they were doing those illegal acts under instructions. Honorable Speaker, we are going to demonstrate through our various pieces of evidence that the County Assembly has no recourse but to turn to this House for redress and to redeem devolution that has clearly died in Meru. Because for how is a governor that is at war with doctors, that is at war with members of the Assembly, that is at war with the church, that is at war with contractors? How is this governor? A governor that has even shifted contracts that are supposed to be done by the people of Meru, or even other Kenyans, to the national government, while devolution is about taking resources to the county. How is this governor supposed to deliver for the people of Meru? That is all, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for listening to me. My land senior, Mr. Ndewa, can take the remaining minute.
In summary, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Senators, joining issues with the submissions made by my learned friend, and especially on the issue of the attempted arson, it is not a coincidence that attempts to burn down the County Assembly of Meru was done at night of the 8th of August, 2024, when this Senate was seized with, when the County Assembly was seized with the impeachment motion. It's not a coincidence that individuals have actually been charged before the court of law as a result of that attempt. Honorable Senators, the proposals being made out there, some of which are constitutional, including the dissolution of the county government of Meru, is not a solution to the problem that we have. Why? Because we have identified the problem. The problem is one individual, Governor Kawira. We have identified the problem is a problem of mismanagement. We have identified the problem is a problem of accountability. We have identified the problem. The problem rests with Governor Kawira. Service delivery has been compromised. We'll play to you videos of babies being born outside a health center, being born in a karai. At 11 o'clock in the morning, when you expect the facility to be fully functional, the facility is closed, no service is being delivered, expectant mother delivering inje outside. the people of Meru County expected that with the inception of devolution and with health sector being apportioned to the county government of Meru, that they will have proper stewardship, that they'll have proper managers, that they'll have people who care about the health status of the people of Meru County. As we speak, there is no explanation that has been ever given by the governor why expectant mother will have to deliver outside a facility, why a woman has to give birth in a karai ya maji. That is a pathetic situation in Meru County. No explanation has been given, no apology has ever been given by the governor, no actions has ever been taken to ensure that such action is not or does not occur. No disciplinary actions taken in respect to that particular facility. So that is the case for the County Assembly. We urge you, honorable senators, to listen to us, to give us time to substantiate the simple charges that we shall place before you, honorable senators. It's a case of mismanagement. It's a case of unaccountability. Is a case of bad governance, is a case of a governor gone rogue, is a case of victimization of the officers serving under the office of the governor or serving under the office of the governor. It's a case of making sure that systems clogs to the benefit of few individuals. That is the simplicity of our case, honorable governors. We'll present you with evidence, concrete evidence, honorable senators, to prove that simple case, the case that meets the threshold as enshrined under Article 181 and as read together with Section 33 of the County Government Act, is a case about the status of the governor of the Meru County government. As I pen off, honorable speakers, some of the proposals being made can be resolved with actions being taken before this Senate. Most obliged.
I will now invite the Counsel for the Governor to proceed to make your opening statement. Your time starts running from now. Not more than 30 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I will be doing 5 minutes. My learned senior, Mr. Ngoya, will do the remaining bit. Before I cede ground to my learned friend, I thought, honorable senators, that I should remind you of remarks made by the team representing the County Assembly in November 2023 when we were here for the last impeachment. Council representing the County Assembly predicted, or rather prophesied, that we will be back here. But Council then was very quick to put a disclaimer that though he's not a prophet, neither does he come from a family of prophets, he was sure that we would be here. And for sure, we are here today. So the question is, if Council was not a prophet, does not come from a family of prophets, how could he predict with precision that indeed we'll be here? And the prediction comes to pass. Honorable senators, I came across a quotation by Abraham Lincoln and Peter Drucker, who said, the surest way to predict the future is to create it. So they went and created this moment. That's why they were able to predict that we would be here. They created another impeachment while they were still standing prosecuting their previous impeachment motion. Honorable senators, how did they do this? They went back, and we will have evidence to show that one day after the Senate discharged the Senate of all the charges, they were gathered in Nairobi, retreats were held to create a new impeachment motion based on lies. So the people before you today, the County Assembly of Meru, are liars. Pathological liars, honorable senators. They went and created lies. Not just the ordinary lie, honorable senators, but pathological lies. And a pathological lie, honorable senators, is a lie that is not only untrue, but a lie that is created and believed by the very person who has created that lie. So what they did is to create a lie
Senator Mungatana, you will have an opportunity to make intervention on this opening statement when the time arises. What is your issue on the use of language? Are you saying there's a language that is unparliamentary?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, basically I'm not making any intervention except, Mr. Speaker, we're in Senate and we must obey the rules. Lies cannot be a language that is allowed here, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mungatana, if it is their case that the county assembly is lying, then they can say so. If it is their case, they're not. Senator Mungatana, this case is before two parties, the governor and the county assembly. Here, the governor is saying you are being fed to untruths. You may want to romanticize that word, but say as it is. It is what it is. So if in their own case, whatever has been presented to the Senate is not true, then they're really warranted to call it, as they're calling it now, a lie. Proceed, Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I hope my time was frozen when the intervention came. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir, our case is that simple, that what you're being fed with are lies. Lies that were created while we were still in the floor of this House defending the previous motion. So my choice of the word lie was very deliberate, Mr. Speaker, sir. And the argument, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that the County Assembly has created a lie, told the lie, repeated the lie so many times that it started sounding like the truth. They actually went ahead and believed that lie. And they want everyone else in this room and the entire country to believe in this lie. And when we look at them in the eye and tell them it's a lie, they get bitter. They get mad. They accuse senators of being bribed. They accuse the governor because they want us to believe a lie, because they have themselves created a lie and believed in a lie. Honorable Senators, Shakespeare states that a rose by any other name shall still smell as sweet. No matter how much mud they sneer on the governor will remain clean. The governor will remain blameless. All they are hoping is that they will bring the governor so many times here that they will keep on repeating one thing, and we all believe that indeed there might be some truth in it. It does not make it the truth just because they keep on repeating that same lie. Honorable Senators, you are sitting here as judges, analyze the evidence, scrutinize the evidence, ask questions to the witnesses that we produce here, and if it does not add up, send them back. Tell them it is a lie, and it is a lie, and the fact that you're repeating that lie will not make it the truth. I yield to my learned friend to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you, distinguished senators. For the record, once again, my name is Ongoya. Mr. Speaker, in view of the earlier interventions, may I know how many minutes I still have for ease of time management?
Just proceed. It shall be indicated to you as you proceed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on November 8th, 2023, I had the privilege of appearing before this Senate and addressing this House on a motion for the removal of Governor Kawira Mwangaza from office. That was the third attempt that had been made to remove Her Excellency Honorable Kawira Mwangaza from office by impeachment. It was, however, the second time that attempt was reaching this House. As we stand here today, this is the fifth attempt to remove Governor Honorable Kawira Mwangaza from office. although it is the third time in total for those attempts to reach this House. It means, Mr. Speaker, distinguished senators, between the time we came here and today, 2 attempts have been made to remove this governor from office between November 8th and today. That determination on the part of the County Assembly either smacks of extreme commitment to salvage Meru County from some funny evil, or smacks of extreme malice. I submit very respectfully, I doubt that there can be any middle ground. In my oration before this House on 8th of November last year, I said, and I quote, "It matters not whether she shall be brought here 100 times. You cannot victimize her because those who torment her are tireless in their torments against her." I retrieved these words from the Hansard of this House. But let me take a step back. Let me take a step back and ask, why did I include these words in my oration, Mr. Speaker, sir? I said those words because while we were before this House, while we were sitting here debating that motion, the mover of the present motion sounded a warning to this House. We didn't have an opportunity then to adduce that evidence because we had already finished our filings. We have an opportunity now to adduce this evidence. And she said, and I quote, "I want to urge our Senate, if they reinstate Kawira Mwangaza, they should know we have 6 more times to impeach her." When we are here debating the last motion, they didn't need any new grounds. They were sounding a warning to this House. Release her and we shall come back 6 times. If they reinstate her, we will impeach her until the 6th time, so that we tell the people of Meru we did our best. We tried to impeach, but the Senate reinstated her. At an appropriate time, not now, we shall play for you clip VKM1, where you'll see those words verbatim. It means we are here today as a matter of statistical count on the part of Honorable Zipporah Kinya. She has 5 more times to go. The question is, Honorable Senators, what can you do as a House tasked to protect devolution to stop this plainly, and with respect, Honorable Senators, plainly nefarious use of the impeachment power? Let me pose the critical question on the mind of everybody, including mine. What is ailing Meru County? Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished senators, I make an argument that this question will attract a negative answer and a positive answer. The negative answer is useful for the determination of the matters before you. The positive answer is useful for a long-term engagement with Meru. The negative answer is this: the problem with Meru County is not Her Excellency Honorable Kawira Mwangaza. With humility, Mr. Speaker, let me repeat in clear, unambiguous, and unequivocal terms. Nothing in the acts or omissions on the part of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza warrants her removal from office by way of impeachment, at least as far as that principle is established by law. Let me try to deal with a positive answer. To help us supply a positive answer to this question, we have lined up Honorable Evans Mawira Kawira, a witness for the governor in these proceedings. Honorable Evans Mawira is significant to these proceedings in 4 significant ways. Number 1, he is a 2-time elected MCA in Meru County Assembly, carrying with him a measure of institutional memory. Number 2, he is the immediate former leader of majority in the County Assembly of Meru, therefore exposed to the workings of that assembly to a fairly high level. Number 3, he was the mover of the impeachment motion against the governor that engaged us here in November 2023, and he is best placed to explain to us what were the undertones and the intricacies in those proceedings. And number 4, he will give us a detailed account on how these impeachment motions are conceptualized and what is the thinking behind them. Mr. Speaker, distinguished senators, at this juncture, I can do no better than to take refuge in the voice of one of Africa's perhaps best literary experts, Chinua Achebe, whose voice continues to address us as follows. If the alligator were to come from the water and tell us Mr. Crocodile is sick, who are we to doubt him? Mr. Evans Mawira Kawira will play that role today. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to derive some lessons from the teachings of an American jurist by the name Robert Jackson. Robert Jackson is a jurist worth listening to or reading from for 3 reasons. 1, he served as the Federal Attorney General of the United States of America. Number 2, he served as the prosecutor at Nuremberg. And number 3, he served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of America. No other jurist in America's or world history has met this combination of influential portfolios in his lifetime this far. In 1940, on 1st of April at 10 a.m., Robert Jackson delivered a speech to the 2nd annual conference of the United States Attorneys. And he was reflecting on the power of prosecutors. I would juxtapose that with the power of impeachers. He observed, and I quote, "The prosecutor has more control over life, liberty, and reputation than any other person in America. His discretion is tremendous. While the prosecutor, at his best, is one of the most beneficent forces in our society, when he acts from malice or other base motives, he is one of the worst." He proceeds, "If the prosecutor is obliged to choose his cases, it follows that he can choose his defendants. And therein lies the most dangerous power of the prosecutor, that he will pick people that he thinks he should, rather than cases that need to be prosecuted. In such a case, it is not a question of discovering the commission of a crime and then looking for the man who has committed it. It's a question of picking the man, then searching the law books and putting investigators to work to pin some offense on him. It is in this realm in which the prosecutor picks some person whom he dislikes or desires to embarrass, or selects some group of unpopular persons and then looks for an offense, that the greatest danger of abuse of prosecuting power lies. It is here that law enforcement becomes personal, and the real crime becomes being unpopular with the predominant or governing group. Distinguished senators, I want to make it unequivocal here. The County Assembly of Meru has not discovered wrongs against Governor Kawira Mwangaza. It has discovered Honorable Kawira Mwangaza first and has put anything and everything at play to say what allegation can we make against her to possibly embarrass her. Allow me to make some general comments on the impeachment motion before you, conscious of the language of this House, but again mindful to speak the truth in its most manifest form. I repeat, distinguished senators, volume number 1 of the document in front of you from the County Assembly, which essentially is the impeachment motion, is simply and squarely a manifesto of lies. This language, Mr. Speaker, sir, is actually strong, and I begin by conceding that, and it requires justification. Let me therefore proceed to justify by making a promissory note. I promise you that at the tail end of this hearing, you will have discovered the following. Number one, when you will retire to consider count number 1, paragraph 4 of the impeachment motion before you, it will read, and I quote, illegally dismissing Dr. Ntoiti, CEO, County Revenue Board, Paul Mwaki, CEO of Liquor Board, Kenneth Kimathi Mbae, Managing Director of Meru Finance Corporation, and Joseph Kithure Mberia, CEO, MWAS, in the usurpation of the powers of the appointing authorities. When you look at the motion you dispensed with last November, count number 4, you will see paragraph 16b, sending Dr. Ntoiti, that same Ntoiti, Paul Mwaki, that same Paul Mwaki, Kenneth Kimathi Mbae, that same Kenneth Kimathi Mbae, Joseph Kithure Mberia, that same Joseph Kithure Mberia, on indefinite compulsory leave. You are redebating the same matter you debated and voted on here in all its substantive content. Number 2, when you look at count number 3, paragraph 3 of the motion before you, you will find a charge of allegation of employing a bloated workforce of at least 111 personal staff in the governor's office. Good people. Count 4, paragraph G of the last impeachment motion read, employing a bloated workforce, more than 100 personal staff in the office of governor. The Swahili say, ukistaajabu ya Musa, utaona ya Firauni. You'll be surprised that the documentary evidence, the piece of paper that was used to support count 4, paragraph G of the last impeachment motion, is the same piece of paper with the same names in the same order that has been attached to the motion before you. That thing that you voted and said has not been proved. I think the County Assembly is trying to try this and embarrass this Senate so that if you vote to the contrary, they will now be in the blogosphere saying how inconsistent you are in your decision making. Evidence will show that any attempt by the County Public Service Board of Meru to add any staff in the governor's office since November, the governor has responded by declining those staff and saying, you employ staff and send them here, then you take me to Senate. You'll see those letters of the governor rejecting any staff. There's no additional staff with the governor's approval in her office since we left here. And the words used by the governor in her rejection letter is that you are sending here this staff to create grounds for my impeachment. Allow me to then give you a promissory note on what my learned colleague, Mr. Mutuma, addressed here. You'll come across the following claims at the end of this impeachment exercise that are false. These claims are factually false. Ground 1, paragraph 3A. You'll be told the governor failed to implement the recommendations of the county assembly requiring the governor to dismiss the county secretary, Dr. Kiambi Aderu, and chief of staff, Harrison Gitobu Njambi. Then 2, that the governor ignored or failed to submit a report to the county assembly on the implementation of the recommendations within 60 days. Distinguished senators, you will go through all the 6 volumes that the county assembly has presented before you. You will not see any Hansard or any resolution of the county assembly to any of these 2 facts. Number 2, you will not see any letter by the clerk or other official of Meru County Assembly transmitting a resolution of this nature from the Meru County Assembly. Distinguished senators, how else can you describe this than a lie? Can there be another word in the dictionary of Englishmen and women that can describe this, if not a lie? Number 2, ground number 1, paragraph 4, illegally dismissing Dr. Ntoiti. And by the way, senators, if I forget, Dr. Ntoiti is an employee of the county government of Nairobi, as we speak today, not Meru. Dr. Ntoiti, and he has been so since 2007. This is something that's going to emerge from these proceedings. Dr. Ntoiti, Paul Mwaki, Kenneth Kimathi, and Joseph Kature Mberia. 1, none of these people have ever been dismissed from service, none. 2, you will see by evidence, these were people on fixed term contracts, some of whom their contracts came to an end. Others among them, they discovered they had maneuvered their ways and gotten their way to 2 governments, and they ran away by themselves. One of them is Dr. Ntoiti, the county government of Nairobi. We will show you correspondence from Nairobi County government revealing these facts. Therefore, how else can you describe this? You will see this governor has not dismissed any of them as a matter of fact. Ground 2, paragraph 6. You will be told, or you are told, that the governor deliberately and knowingly misled the public that 86,000 shillings, quote unquote, 86 million shillings, my apologies for that, 86 million shillings, quote unquote, had been raised through Paybill number 247, account number 04001639178999. There will be no evidence by documentary or video or even witness evidence showing the governor has ever mentioned this Paybill number or mentioned this account number anywhere. It is a fact, we will prove by evidence. The leaders who have waged war against the governor have collected money across multiple Paybill numbers, M-Pesa platforms, and cash accounts that have not been presented to this Senate. It is a submission. If the county assembly has decided to make the issue of the money collected in relation to the unfortunate death of Sniper an issue in this Senate, they must make a full and candid disclosure of how much money was collected across all these platforms. Ground 3, paragraph 8, irregular payment of emergency call allowances to 161 doctors and medical doctors using the wrong rates. 1, as a matter of fact, the governor is neither a salary processing or a salary paying officer in the county government of Meru. But 2, and more importantly, substantively, the emergency call allowance complained of here is expressly contained in the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the national government, the Ministry of Health, and KMPDU. The instructions were cascaded down from the Principal Secretary to the Council of Governors and to all counties. No cent has been paid outside the figures set out in that collective bargaining agreement. I think, let me use the brief time I have here, because we are also the public listening to us, to make it clear to the doctors in Meru that the compliance by the county government of Meru with their hard-fought and negotiated CBA, and we all know in the public domain, some officials of KMPDU actually went in jail for some days in the course of these 2017 negotiations. Implementation is actually landing a governor in problems. Ground 3, paragraph 9, use of a manual payroll to pay personnel emoluments. 1, this is something you'll find very paradoxical. As at 25th June 2024, the County Assembly of Meru had raised this question with the county executive on whether there is a manual payroll. and the county executive had answered satisfactorily that there was no longer use of a manual payroll in the county government of Meru. That's number one. But number two, the same audit report that the county assembly will give you showing that there may have been use of manual payroll previously will show use of manual payroll in the county itself